this FA-18 training video where you're going to learn how to fly the F-18 along with me. So today we're going to learn about the GPS weapon data entry. However that's going to work. Let's get on it.
Welcome to the Hornet GPS weapon and target data entry training. You start your flight on the deck of an aircraft carrier preparing to launch. You are loaded with 2 GBU-31 JDAM and 2 AGM-84K SLAM ER. Unless otherwise indicated, most highlighted button presses and spacebar presses will immediately forward the lesson to the next step. On your first time through the training, it is recommended that you listen fully to each set of instructions before taking the action that will move the lesson forward. When ready to continue, press the spacebar. Begin by bringing up the stores page on the left DDI by pressing PB8. Next, power up, align the ordnance, and bring up the GBU-31 display by pressing PB6, J84. When you do so, JDAM display will show in the top right of the DDI. Press PB11 to bring up the JDAM display. This screen is the GPS weapon display containing essential JDAM information. It is the display you will use to program, monitor, and employ JDAMs. Other GPS munitions will have similar displays. Around the edge of the screen are push-button indicators for important functions. We will focus on PB4, Mission, specifically Mission Mode. After familiarizing yourself with this display, press PB4, Mission.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and familiarize ourselves then. There's a mode button, a mission button. Can't read that because there's something in the way. Erase JDAM. I don't even know what that means. Looks like it might be declutter HSI, but usually there's a C for that, not K. Some kind of step option and a quantity option. Go back to the menu and something about a TM. So let's go to mission and find out what's next.
You now see all the details for the JDAM on Station 8. Note, the indication at push button 1 is a boxed PP1, meaning the weapon is set for pre-planned mission 1. The indicator is X'd out, meaning that currently there is not enough targeting data entered. Also note that there are PP1 through PP6 positions. This means that Wing Station 8 can be programmed with up to 6 different pre-planned settings for target coordinates and terminal profile. This is useful for JDAM since it is possible to load up to 2 GB38 on stations 2, 3, 7, 8. Different pre-planned target profiles can be used for each bomb. At the center of the screen, the coordinates of the target will be displayed when entered from the upfront controls, UFC. To begin entering the required data via the UFC, press PB14, target UFC. On the UFC, you will note push buttons for terminal profile, target position, and target elevation. Note, target UFC display resets off after 30 seconds of unuse. To redisplay, toggle push button 14. On the UFC, press the terminal push button. Impact heading, HDG, and velocity, VEL, are often dependent on the target and/or type of weapon. They are not covered in this training. ANG is impact angle. Set the impact angle to 45 degrees by first pressing the UFC ANG push button. You are now back at the Terminal Choices UFC list. Toggle Target UFC off by pressing left DDI push button 14. You are about to start entering the target position, POSN, coordinates of latitude, LAT, longitude, LON, and elevation, ELEV. Latitude and longitude data format is a north-south or east-west hemisphere, then degrees, minutes, seconds, and seconds decimal fraction. You enter this data by first selecting the hemisphere, then entering degrees, minutes, seconds, and pressing enter. Then entering the decimal fraction digits and pressing enter again. When called on to do this, and to avoid a confusing display, only the hemisphere keypad selection and enter keys will be highlighted. Start the target geocoords entry process by pressing the target UFC left DDI push button 14, and then the UFC. You are presented with UFC push buttons for latitude LAT and longitude LON. Start by pressing the latitude push button. First, select the northern hemisphere by pressing keypad in 2.
How convenient.
Next, enter the degrees, minutes, and seconds by pressing keypad 4, 3, 4, 0, 3, 5, and then enter. Now enter the decimal digits by pressing keypad 1, 3, and press enter. Target latitude should appear near the center. The longitude format is identical to latitude format. Specifically, the leading digit for longitude is not used. First, select the East Hemisphere by pressing keypad E6. Next, enter degrees, minutes, and seconds by pressing keypad 3, 9, 3, 6, 4, 5, and then enter. Now enter the decimal digits by pressing. If you have entered the latitude and longitude correctly, it will appear near the center of the left DDI. You are now ready to enter the elevation ELEV settings. Step back to the initial UFC target settings, toggling left DDI push button 14 off, not boxed, and on again, boxed. When back on the upfront controls, target elevation can be entered in empirical feet or in metric meters. On the UFC keypad, press 3, 5, 1, not highlighted. Then press look at the left DDI to ensure it was entered correctly. If you made a mistake, you may re-enter the data. When ready, Station 8 is now fully configured. The PP1 box X should have cleared. To practice what you just learned, you will program Station 2 for another target. On the left DDI, press in the upper left corner, you should see Station 2, and again, PP1 boxed and X'd out. Reminder, each wing station has to program Station 2, enter the data as shown below. No narrative. When you successfully complete these steps and check the results at the center of the left DDI, press the spacebar.
Infield 4, passing waypoint 2 at 2,500.
Okay, so they want us to go through this on our own to show that we've actually learned how to do this. So, if I remember correctly, I don't believe there was a terminal option. So we'll go to position. You can't see it on your screen right now, but at the top right of my screen, there's information to enter. When you go to here, terminal angle, enter. And then we can do the position. They want latitude is going to be north 40.31. Then 62 for the decimal. The long will be east 39, 36, 23 for the decimal. Toggle toggle. Elevation is going to be in feet. 6, enter. A space bar. Oh, how do you set it to the specific one you want it on, though?
At this point, it is good practice to check the entered data one last time, using step shift back and forth between Station 2 and Station 8. Ensure PP1 is active for both. Then press push button 19 return to the JDAM display.
Okay, so he had to set it to the push button 1 to have multiple settings. Okay, so I guess you can choose multiple weapons or multiple targets per bomb, I guess, in case you want to change it in the middle. So you have this one, it changes from 0 to 2 or 8 to 2. I'm not really sure.
Next, you will see how the skills you just learned are also used in programming SLAM-ER turn points, STPs. While this display is similar to the main JDAM display, there are a couple differences. Specifically, Flight, FLT, adjusts missile flight profile, and SPT at push button 11. We will focus on SPT data entry. Press push button 11, STP. On the upfront controls display, the top line will display STP1 for turn point 1. 5 total turn points may be programmed. The UFC will now show several lines: velocity, waypoint, position, altitude, and delete. Press the ALT, altitude, push button. This will set the altitude, in MSL, that the missile should achieve upon reaching the turn point. You have using the upfront controls keypad, press 4000. Next, you will set the position for the first turn point. Entering latitude and longitude is essentially the same as entering pre-planned targeting data. The one difference, after either latitude or longitude has been entered, the UFC display will revert to the original 5 choices and position must be pressed again. With the upfront controls push buttons and keypad, enter the data below, not narrated. When ready to continue, press the space bar.
Oh, that's right. Hold on. It's going to be north. 32, 26, 9, and 83. Longitude. It's going to be east 41, 33, 24, and 91. Enter.
On the left DDI, toggle STP off and then back. You should again see the turn point list on the UFC.
Oh, now I got another one.
Follow-on turn point position has entered the following data in the applicable fields, not narrated. When you have successfully entered this data, press the spacebar to continue.
Okay, so they want us to do 4,000 feet for the altitude. For the position, the latitude is going to be north 42, 0, 9, 33, and they actually are giving me the decimal now instead of separating it to make me remember. 0.76. Then to get back to that, we have to hit position again. For longitude, it's going to be east 42, 12, 36, 17. And we can continue.
Press left DDI, push button 11 to congratulations. You have successfully mastered the skill of entering precision target coordinates for GPS guided weapons using pre-planned target mode, as well as programming SLAM-ER turn points. This concludes the training flight. If you want to continue with this flight, finish programming the SLAM-ERs with target data and terminal parameters, provided on your kneeboard card. Both are assigned the same target. All weapons require eFuse instant. When targeting is complete, return the left DDI to HUD, prepare for flight, taxi to a CAT, and launch. The JDAM targets are near nav waypoint 1. The SLAM ER launch point is nav waypoint 2. Its target is a factory. You may note how the SLAM ER waypoint...
Okay, well, we're not going to go do that right now because I don't know how to drop JDAMs yet. That's another mission which we're going to come up on the next training video. So hopefully you got something out of today's training. I know I kind of understand what's going on, but I'm sure after repeated practice I'll start to get it and you'll start to get it too. So thanks for watching today. Really hope you're enjoying the series so far, and I will catch you next time. Bye guys.